what would be the worst possible thing to do?
That's up there.
That is like 100%. It has to be in the top 5. That's gonna be our next Fetch and Shock top 5. Worst possible thing to do to somebody in the service industry.
Or those fucking cunts who put it like in a glass of water upside down, like with ketchup all around it.
Yeah.
Like fuck those people too.
That has to be a fucking top 10, or that has to be in top 5 worst things you could possibly do. Like stealing somebody's tip, doing something fucky with it, or like how people, I don't know if people still do this, but like I feel like that was a trope that when people go to weddings and they give away money, they like tie it in a fucking knot and then soak it in water.
I for sure do that. You get it wet first, then tie it. You can tie it tighter.
Sure.
And then it hardens, and then I dip it.
That is like the worst possible thing.
See, that's just a fun tradition. Like that's like we had to like the day after our wedding, we sat and untied things.
How is that even like? But like if I get a knot in like
I have
my
no
dog's
issues with that because it's funny.
Yeah, but if I get like even like a knot in something that's like doesn't matter. Like if there's ever a knot in Bud's leash, I'm just like, nope, fuck it. It'll stay there until I throw that leash away. Because it's just like I cannot be bothered. So if that would ever happen, first I would have to find somebody that would marry me. So like never gonna happen. But then like I would get that money, I'd be like, under $20, it's not worth it. Just throw that money away.
Oh, see, that's no go. We had someone do it with 100. I know who it was.
Oh, see, I would do that. I would make an effort to untie that.
And I always give like $20 because what it's for is the bridal dance.
Sure.
And that's like strictly like a Western PA thing.
Is it?
Yeah, they don't do that everywhere.
I guess I've never really been to weddings that weren't like Pennsylvania weddings.
Yeah, that's not something that is everywhere.
Huh. I guess Pennsylvania does have a bunch of fucking dumb traditions.
Yeah.
All the fucking Polacks.
Like, yeah, it is. It's the Polish people, for sure.
All the Polish people.
Like, at the end, you're supposed to, like, the groom has to, like, get to his bride. Like, that's not something they do everywhere.
I just assumed this was all just, like, normal wedding shit.
It is in Western PA.
Wow. I wonder what the fucking origins of these. Listeners, if you're from Poland.
Well, no, that one pretty simple. You're, like, the groom is fighting to get his bride.
I just wonder what like the backstory behind.
Like
what's the Brothers Grimm tale behind all of these fucking dumb traditions that we have in Pennsylvania weddings?
See, those are fun then.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
I don't understand where they came from, but I like doing it. I don't give a fuck.
That's fair. I just like understanding. Also, moot point. What if you just don't get married?
Well, then you don't have to deal with it.
Exactly. Why get married when you can just live in a basement with your dog and drink beer and record podcasts?
I feel bad for you, bud.
Living the life.
You're a fucking loser.
What is up, you Spice Lords? Welcome back to another episode of the Fetch and Shock podcast. I'm your host, the guy handing out flyers for the Church of Thalia, Tyler. And joining me is my co-host, the Gordon Ramsay of Magic, Matt. Matt, what is going on, dude?
Nothing, my dude. Just hanging out, you know.
Chef Matt. I'm really leaning into that nickname.
I gathered that from the intro.
You're just going to have food-themed intros from here until this ends. So, like, in 3 weeks.
Forever. Yeah. So
yeah,
what's
Chef
up?
Matt, how was your week?
My week isn't bad. Just working.
Yeah, sounds about right. Same.
Yeah, I'm sure. If by working you mean fucking playing with yourself and taking your dog on a walk, then sure.
Hey, it's a tough job, man. Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to fucking do it.
Somebody's got to do it. No, dude. This whole entire week, I spent countless hours, a lot of man hours, a lot of time, a lot of effort into scrolling through Twitter and engaging with our lovely fans who answered our Twitter question.
Yeah, we got some.
Hell yeah.
We got some answers.
Yes, we totally did. Our question of the week, I guess, we could talk about that, was in regards to the top 5 that we did last week, which was our brand new segment. We're just going to start coming out with new segments every week. And by the end of it, we're just not even going to have like time to talk about normal Magic shit. We're just going to be doing segment after segment. It's going to be Whose Line Is It anyway.
I'll pass.
But this week was talking about our top 5 and what other people thought were the best creatures in Magic. And I love that some people's best creatures are just like cards that I'm just
Death
like,
Toucher.
This is amazing. I love this so much. Like
1/1 Death Touch for the win.
Yeah, I mean, you literally cannot beat a 1/1 Death Touch in like Theros Limited. You can't do it. You could get a flyer, I guess, but like that's a lot. It is amazing how it just intimidating a 1/1 with Death Touch.
It's not intimidating. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's just like, how the fuck am I going to attack through this in like the next 5 turns? Like you just have to bite the bullet and just attack with like your turn 2 play, which is just such a feel bad moment.
It really is. Well, your one drop pretty much trades for whatever.
Yeah, it just trades up.
Pretty much constantly, yeah.
Or like somebody uses a removal spell on it, and you're just like, okay.
Thank you.
It's like just literally nothing but upside, just jamming a 1/1 death touch for 1 green on turn 1.
Yeah, but turn like 12, it's shit.
Oh yeah, it's not great.
Because then they're like, yeah, sure, I'll trade this other shitty thing for it.
But I mean, but there are times that like you just like top deck that and you just play it, and it's just like your opponent's like, oh great, now I just like can't attack with my best creature anymore.
True. It does make things a little tricky.
It is slightly better than drawing land.
Depends.
Or it could just be like significantly better than drawing land. If it's like turn 15. But
yeah, it's all dependent, I guess.
But like also this was one of the responses from Giannotta Audasso. It was actually our winner for the Pauper deck that we gave away.
Oh, with the 1/1 Death Toucher.
Yeah, which is so sick.
Friggin' Italians and their 1/1 Death Toucher.
That guy, listen, Italy full of 1/1 Death Touching Scorpion.
It would have been better if you did a fucking stallion, some horse, magic horse.
Just some Italian style. It's just like Andrea Mengucci's face superimposed on top of the Siege Scorpion from Theros.
That's dope.
That is so good.
I would play that in every deck.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna start jamming this in Pauper decks and just getting somebody to alter it. And by getting somebody, I mean myself. And I'm just gonna glue Andrea Mengucci's face on this guy. Just
a real rough, like it's like 4 inches thick.
I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, we also had another one, Matt Hulk. It was a reoccurring trend in green creatures. Elusive Crisis. Matt, do you know what Elusive Crisis does?
I do not. And I even saw the tweet.
I love it, dude. It is a 0/4 for 1 green blue. It is unblockable. It has Evolve. Evolve was such a sick mechanic.
Was pretty decent.
Yeah, when something enters with greater power and toughness than the thing, power or toughness, just put
some of the Evolve creatures were really fucking good too, like that 1/1 flyer.
Oh yeah, the 1/1 flyer that was an 0/1 that had Evolve.
The 0/1 flyer, yeah.
Yeah, and then Experiment 1. That card was sick. It was just a 1/1 for 1 green, and then you could regenerate it by taking off counters.
That card still sees play here and there.
Yeah, that card's sick. You know what? I'm surprised that card has not seen play in Pioneer with like the like Hardened Scales deck.
Pretty sure it was in that deck, wasn't it?
It hasn't been in a while. I mean, maybe it's just like that deck is moving towards like Heliod
anymore, yeah. Stuff.
Like Heliod shenanigans, and it's just like that just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, true.
That could be it. But I just love seeing what people think is like the best card to them. That is such a cool thing.
It is, because everyone's opinion differs wildly.
Oh my god, yeah. Every single Magic player has a different version of what the best card.
100%, yeah.
Just so sick. But everybody's wrong because it's obviously Snapcast.
I think you misspelled Deathrite Shaman, but that's okay.
You misspelled it. You're right. Deathrite Shaman. No, Deathrite Shaman. I will go back and say Deathrite Shaman should have been in my top 5.
100% so, without a doubt.
It should be in place of the Land of War Elves. I was just using that as just like...
It should be 1 or 2.
No. I don't think it's that high.
Just wrong.
Just because it's been banned out of existence.
I'm not arguing again on this.
Also, I fucking hate Deathrite Shaman. I just want to forget it instead.
You never will.
Oh, I 100% will, because it's not being played in any format ever.
Vintage, it still sees a good amount of play.
I'm talking about real formats, man.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, I love that. I saw like a tweet that you commented on earlier this week.
Yeah, I was
and it was just like he was trying to throw Deathrite Shaman into somebody else's deck list, and I'm like, here he goes. He's on the fucking horse now. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a Sultai inverter or something.
Yeah, and you're just like, have you considered Deathrite Shaman in this deck?
Well, I mean, that's the deck it would probably go into, if we're being very honest. It helps manage your graveyard. It takes advantage of, like, the Grizzly Salvages and the fucking green idiot who dumps cards into your graveyard. If it were going to be in a deck, that would probably be.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be, unfortunately. Sorry, Deathrite. Just not good enough to make the cut.
Better recognize.
It's just, like, not Scavenging Ooze.
Well, obviously, it's not going to be Scavenging Ooze because it's Deathrite Shaman. You should have phrased that as Scavenging Ooze will never be Deathrite Shaman.
Well, Scavenging Ooze made the deck list, and Deathrite Shaman did not, so who's winning that? Seems like an Oozy boy.
I think it's just a matter of time before it starts seeing play in Pioneer.
Yeah, until they reprint fetch lands into the format.
No, there's technically a fetch land in the format. I bought some of those, by the way. Did I tell you that?
Passages?
Yeah, I got them.
You got them for like a dumb good price, didn't you?
Yeah, like $45 for the set.
Oh, the MTG Finance podcast talking about getting Fable Passages on eBay.
Well, what I do is I'll like throw a bid on something.
Yeah, you
and
said
I'll
you didn't
forget
even
about it.
remember winning the bid until you got the notification that you won it.
Yeah, like I had the high bid on it, obviously, and then I
forgot about it for 2 days.
Yeah, and I was like, oh right, I forgot about that. Nice.
Love that.
Because I'll do that to stuff that I know is going to go higher than that, but in the off chance it doesn't, I'm willing to spend 2/3 of the actual price on it.
Yeah, because like most of the time you forget about it and then somebody outbids you, and then
and it's like whatever. I'm not.
It's like no harm, no foul because you forgot about it. But then other times you forget about it, and then you get the notification that you won them for like literally nothing, and you're like, oh, neat, very cool.
Yeah, and I needed them anyway, so it's like, well, what the fuck ever. It's
and it's not like
off my back. No, under $50
for a card that
I'll play.
Is going to be seen play in a format for a very, very long time. Like as for pretty much the entirety of the format, I'm assuming.
I think so. It's like the only fetch land really there is for
that card's
the time
really
being, at least.
Never going to go down unless they reprint. It's just going to become the new fetch land.
It's the most fair fetch land.
Well, what do you think? How long will it be until they give us the Fabled Passage Secret Lair?
Probably about 2 days after this episode.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because that just seems like what they do. Because last week we spent, I'd say, a solid 10 minutes just shitting on Secret Lairs and being like, listen, we fucking had enough.
And then they came out with your literal favorite card ever.
Yeah, Wizards heard that, because Wizards, we know you're listening. They just said, oh, well, Tyler was just making fun of these fucking Secret Lairs. Let's make him look like an asshole and release literally the fucking Secret Lair Tyler edition. They just gave me 4 fucking gorgeous Thalias. I love it.
They're all really good. Which one's your favorite?
Oh, see, I wish I could pick a favorite. It is so fucking hard. The Vulcan Baga one, or not Vulcan Baga, the Johannes Voss. His Thalias are really, really good.
See, I like one from each a lot. I like the one that there's the tower in the background with light blasting out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Where Thalia's looking down at you. And then the one with...
That's the Miguel.
Yeah, and then the one from the other person.
Johannes Voss.
Yeah, the one with the spirit in the background. The
Geist of St. Trapp Thalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Geist of St. Trapp Thalia is my favorite one from Johannes. And then the one where fucking Thalia's like digging the spear into like the Eldrazi, that one is just flawless. Those arts are so freaking good. And like the rendered version of it, where her eyes are like fucking like just bright white, are just out of this fucking world. Like seeing that art blown up, that is such a great digital. Which, I mean, that's the one thing about these is just like, these are all digital arts.
They're all pretty fucking cool too.
But they're great art.
Yeah, they're all really decent.
I'm just a sucker for Thalia. And like just knowing that there would be like a Thalia painting out there in the wild.
Oh, painting.
Yeah, painting.
I thought you were going to go with printing.
No, like a physical, like one painting for Thalia. One of them out there in the wild is just like such a awesome concept to me. So I'm like, oh, maybe one day if I ever win the fucking lottery or something, I could just buy that shit, because that would be so sick to own.
Well, aren't these digitals? So they're not actually like a painting?
Yeah, they're not physical, and that's what I'm saying. They're not. There's no physical painting of that.
Yeah, just go ahead and
so you can
buy a digital print. Yeah.
Like Johannes, like a couple years ago, I think 2017 when I bought the prints. They had a Kickstarter campaign where you could just buy like some of the prints that they had online, and I like immediately jumped on that Kickstarter and snapped up as many, or as I think at that point you could buy like different tiers or packages or whatever. And I 1000% snapped up like 4 of them because I just like loved all of the digital arts. Like that's one of the better digital artists in Magic, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know a lot more about that than I do.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other like notable arts that they've done, Blood Artist, if you're familiar with that.
I am. The black one where lose a life, gain a life, when something dies.
The promo Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay, I had to think about the art for a minute, but I got you.
Yeah. I want to say it is. I believe the card is Wings of Vescopa, I believe, but it's it's from the Return to Ravnica block. It's the lady like standing on the edge of like a building, and it's like a view from above, and they have wings that are made of like stained glass. The art is just insane.
What's this card called?
I think it's Wings of Vescopa.
It better be, because I'm going to look it up. Yeah, you'll have to get back to me. So yeah, they came out with a new Secret Lair with Thalia, and you instantly Ate your fucking words.
Well, I mean, if there was one thing that they could do to make me get back on the Secret Lair train, it was print literally my favorite card.
Yeah, it's that.
I mean, I'm not going to say that these are like not beautiful because they're obviously beautiful, but okay. Now that you printed Thalia ones, we're done.
They are forgiven. Yeah. Oh, now they're just done.
Gift of Orzhova. Sorry, that's what the card is called.
Gift of what?
Orzhova. So it's Orzhov with an A.
Let us see. Oh yeah, that one's cool.
Oh my goodness. I have a print of that and it is fucking flawless. It looks so good. Other ones you might know, Phyrexian Metamorph.
It's dope.
Shieldred, Restoration Angel.
Shieldred's the black thing that returns shit, right?
Yep, the Black Praetor.
Yeah, Praetor, that's the word. I couldn't think of that.
Yep, and then for more recent cards that people have just started playing in the past couple years would recognize, the big one that was like a knockout was On Sarah's Wings, the uncommon enchantment from Dominaria with like the stained glass wings on the back. It's the enchantment for 4 mana that makes the creature legendary, gives it a +1/+1 on flying, vigilance, and lifelink.
Yeah.
That art is just unreal.
I think my current favorite art, I don't know how the fuck we got sucked into an art.
It was the Thalia arts, bud.
Yeah, whatever. Is my current favorite, I think, is Everdream from Modern Horizons.
Oh yeah, that art's so good. That's it's not Rebecca Guai. It's not Seb.
Niall something.
Niles
it's like Niles Hammond.
He's the guy who also did like Baleful Strix and stuff.
Did not know that. It's super fucking dope.
Yeah, so good. Welcome to the Fat to Chalk Art Podcast.
Well, we do this every now and again where we just fucking get into it.
Yeah, where something comes around and I'm just like have to nerd out on the fucking art of the card. It's not the heart of the cards, boys. It's the art of the cards.
Boom.
But back to the Secret Lairs. We have discovered the Secret Lair that I am actually going to purchase.
Oh, are they foil? They're foil, aren't they?
Yeah, they're foil. Unfortunately,
you're still buying them,
dude.
Oof.
They're Thalia. Like it feels bad, and I'm not gonna play them because like I can't whiteboard them, so it really takes away the thing.
You're just gonna throw them in a binder and let them hang out.
Well, I'm probably just gonna like not open the box.
Oh, let's just let them hang out.
Yeah. Like, I'm probably just going to own it and be like, okay, I have this Thalia Secret Lair that I'm just, like, really into. And the cool thing is, I believe that this ties into a thing that they're doing with Magic Arena as well. Where for, like, the historic format, they're going to throw in a bunch of old cards onto Magic Arena that are just going to be legal for historic.
See, what's the point of that?
Just to make the format kind of sweet. Like, so Thalia is going to be one of them. They're throwing in Ghost Quarter. They're throwing in the cycle lands like Forgotten Cave and Barren Moor. They're doing like Brain Maggot, Bajuka Bog. They're throwing in Pack Rats.
Just for the fuck of it.
Just to spice up the format. They're putting in 25 cards. And if you want to look at the cards, the announcement is available on the Wizards website. It's with the announcement of the Thalia Secret Lair.
See, that seems silly to me, but whatever.
I mean, if you're into historic, like you want to be able to keep the format fresh.
No one is in fucking historic.
I think they do need to make changes to the format, like be able to play more than just like on like one day of the week.
Oh, that's right. It's only like Wednesdays or something, isn't it?
But there are these ways to also spice up the format where you can just like, I can now play with like Knight of the Reliquary and Thalia in historic. That is super sweet.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Like I'm so on board with that. And if they somehow make historic something that I would want to play in paper, like this helps a lot. If they make it so I can actually play it on Magic Arena, this definitely gets me in the door.
Yeah, to just be able to play some of those things that you love.
Yeah, some of the cards that like I've always been playing Magic since the birth of historic. I have cards that I really love since prior to the birth of historic. I would love to play those cards in.
Well, what is historic? What's the...
Historic is like the Magic Arena legal sets.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes. And so now they're just injecting new cards into that card pool.
They'll do it into that, but not fucking Pioneer. Yes.
I think logistically it's a little bit easier to do it onto Arena.
It's just ones and zeros.
Yeah, and like you could spend wild cards to get these cards, even though it's like 2 wild cards for 1 card and for historic, which kind of sucks. But like you can do that. That's something that's available to you. Where like I think we've had this conversation before. It's hard to just inject cards into Pioneer.
Yeah, because
there is a hard cap on like how many of those cards exist.
Yeah, I get it. I just like being
Fair point.
For being very honest, that's what it boils down to.
And yeah, I mean, if people are listening to this, they know that that's your MO. It's just being a fucking prick. So
I like to play devil's advocate from time to time.
Yeah, devil's advocate is something that you do. Except for like, also you are just like the devil in most of those things. Like you're not even just advocating, you're just the guy.
Just fucking around with it.
just exactly the guy. I love it. But that was some exciting news from the Magic the Gathering this week. And now I'm back on board with the Secret Lairs. Just keep them coming. As long as you're gonna keep giving me the white card Secret Lairs. Like if they just do an entire series of, since Wizards is listening and they're obviously big fans, if they just do like the Tyler's favorite card Secret Lair, and they give me like Flicker West and Mother of Roan and like all the fun shit, give me a Palace Jailer Secret Lair. Just give me 2 Palace Jailers. That's all I'll ever need. And have them just pre-whiteboarded.
Is that the 4-drop one?
Palace Jailer, the one that is Monarch and then also takes a creature. That's the guy.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was it. I thought that was it, but
oh boy, do I love me some Palace Jailer. Just make them non-foil, make them pre-whiteboarded. You will guaranteed at least get one person to buy them. It's me. I'm the person.
That makes sense.
That's not true. There's another person out there if you make the white cards. Because I figured out this week on Twitter, this was big news for me. Actually, she was one of our shout-outs. Liz, she's a big Magic player. She's also a vendor. She was one of our shout-outs for one of our episodes. But realized this week, she posted something when these Thalia things came out. She also has an entirely white-bordered Death and Taxes.
Oh, I saw that too. Another fucking degen.
I have never been happier. Knowing that there is another scum out there just like me. She's at Devoted Druid on Twitter if you're interested in going to check her out, because she's worth it, because she's also a piece of shit just like me, who has an entirely white-bordered Death and Taxes.
Garbage people.
I love it. I love it so fucking much.
Banned. Oh, you're still fucking banned, by the way, you piece of shit.
Oh, since you told me that I was banned on Twitter because of Corey?
Get.
Also, Corey did chime in, and he said that we should name the Fetch and Shock squad the Spicy Boys.
That's what well, then you're leaving out all the other folk.
The spicy folk.
Spicy folk. The
See,
taste buddies.
The taste buddies. The daddies. The taste daddies.
No, the taste buddies.
Oh, spice daddies.
Sounds like Spice Girl too much, so no.
Well, I think no, but daddy can be a gender neutral. Anybody can be a daddy.
Fuck off.
Especially a spice daddy. The Fetch
and
Shock Spice Girls is so good.
Hate you so goddamn much.
Y'all are the Spice Girls.
I quit.
Are you angry, Spice Matt? Is that what you are?
God damn it. God damn you, you son of a bitch.
Salty Spice over here. Oh, that's so
Spice
good.
Girls album coming 2020.
Spice Girls Fetch and Shock collab.
You know we're going to get a fucking assist in the mail saying, stop.
God damn it. If you want to use our IP, you got to pay us our rights. That's just what the cease and desist is going to say.
Pretty fucking close to.
God damn it. Well, speaking of me being banned from the Fetch and Shock podcast, we got an announcement for an announcement.
We did get an announcement for an announcement.
Yeah, the announcement for the announcement has been announced.
So, 2 things with this. A couple more than 2, I guess. The first thing is they stuck to what they said. They were cool.
Yeah, we were talking about the announcement for the banner restricted announcement that they announced that is going to be announced next Monday. From
now until the 9th. The only things that are going to get bought or sold are specs. I have stuff in like my cart that I was going to buy, and I said, well, I'm not going to fucking buy this shit now.
No. So
that's kind of a little thing I saw. I was like, well, if I spend this money and then something gets banned, I'm going to be super fucking pissed.
Sure.
And then the last thing, I think in Pioneer, Dig is going to get banned. I don't fucking know about Standard.
All right, well, how about we talk about like the repercussions of the announcement stuff, and then we'll talk about the cards that we think are going to be.
Sure.
Because I think the announcement for the announcement is like almost just as harmful as just announcing the
Well, I think it might be even a little bit worse.
Oh, you think it's actually worse?
It might be. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I guess
this is my theory behind it. Because like me, a lot of people are not going to be buying until it's actually announced.
Yeah. And also people are not going to be testing for their events, like at least properly. because there's like modern SCG things coming up, like literally that weekend that could be that swinging like in one way or the other, depending on what the bans are.
Yeah, that's true. So there might be something that gets kind of nerfed a little bit. And then people aren't going to be buying stuff, and I think some people might be panic selling now just to try to get ahead of it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, just being a part of Magic the Gathering, you sign on to the volatility of the card game. It's just like stocks and stuff. If you plan on like using the card game as a funnel for money, it's just like buying stocks. It's like sometimes shit's going to go up, sometimes shit's going to go down, sometimes shit's going to crash. And that's all based on something out of your power.
Well, generally it's mostly crash. Like prices plummet when shit gets banned.
Yeah, but then there's also times where you buy something and it...
Oh yeah, you can spec on something and then it's like, okay, yeah, sure. That's not generally the case. Because look, when Pioneer was announced, people were buying out Saheeli's, people were buying out the Energy, the Marvel, and that hasn't done shit. The other thing got banned. And then specifically one that comes to mind that's very recent is Hogak. Hogak was like $40.
Yeah.
And then it got banned. Now it's like $3 maybe.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, when you have something like that is something so high and so powerful in the format that it makes that price point so high, it's going to crash at some point because you know it's going to get banned. That's like the
even if
situation.
It doesn't get banned, it eventually people either sell them or whatever. Just be like, yeah, I don't really want these.
The market self-regulates to a point.
Yeah,
but like again, you're signing on to the volatility.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if you want consistency in your money, buy a fucking CD. Like put it in a fucking bank.
Or buy Jund. Buy Modern Jund.
or buy Jund. If you want it in Magic, just buy duels.
Yeah, buy some reserve list shit.
Yeah, save that money, buy reserve list shit. If you're really looking for that kind of fucking guarantee. But if you're like speccing on cards that are printed in 2020, like you got to pay to play. If you are trying to do that, then you know the risk. The issue is with people who are not doing it for the financial gain or for like just buying and selling just to be able to play the decks. It's like the people who are trying to test for these formats who are just like, oh, I don't know if my deck's going to be playable in a week.
Yeah, 6 days at this point. That you could be testing and testing. And then it's like, hey, this gets banned. Well, this deck is now unplayable, or it's not the tier 0 anymore. And now this is arguably the best deck.
And it's fair to say that the Inverter deck in Pioneer is not going to be the same right now as it is going to be next Monday.
No, I think, like I think Dig is get banned.
And there are a couple different options, I guess, that you have with that deck. You can ban, like you said, you can ban Dig. I think along with that, you can also just ban Treasure Cruise.
See, Treasure Cruise isn't a problem. It is way less potent in combo decks because you're just drawing 3 random cards.
Sure. But my thought behind that is you just cut all the fucking Hydra's heads off at once. So you don't have to worry about something growing back. You just like hit both of the historically very, very, very like overpowered Delve blue spells, get them out of the way, and then you don't have to worry about it in the future. Where if you just ban Dig, there is a non-zero chance that in the future you're going to just have to do the same thing for T-Cruise.
See, I don't think they're going to just preemptively ban something that's not a problem. Treasure Cruise is not even close to the power level of Dig. Yes, it costs 2 blue. However, it's instant speed. You get to look at 7 cards and take the 2 best cards.
Yeah.
And then Treasure Cruise.
Just 3 random ones off the top.
3 random ones and sorcery speed. But for a less blue and 1 more card, you're not that's not a very good argument. Dig's favor. Or Treasure Cruise's favor.
Well, I mean, like, that just it boils down to
when they first were getting banned, like after Treasure Cruise was by far the best. It was better just because it was Ancestral Recall. Because you had the things to make it fucking stupid, like Fetch Lands and what's that? Thought Scour.
Oh, and Thought Scour.
Yeah, so
but they also banned Dig at that time. So like Wizards has shown
in Modern they did, but in Legacy they did not.
But like that shows that Wizards does have the foresight, and that like that's where it is. Like, do you think Wizards has the foresight to just be like, nope, cut it off now, or are they going to let Treasure Cruise breathe?
I think they should let it breathe. See what happens. That's how this format was the inception. Since it's been like that. It's hey, these fetch lands are banned. Everything else is free game. we're going to see what happens. And I think that's the
But then
correct
2
way
weeks
to do
later,
it.
something got smacked.
Which is fine. You just let it evolve. And I really don't think it would not be nearly as good with Treasure Cruise. That's a fact. It wouldn't be nearly as good.
But we also are in a world where they're saying that, like, we're not in the world where they said that they were going to be doing bans for Pioneer every week. Now it's like, whenever we feel like there's bans that are needed, we're going to do the announcement, and then the week later, they're going to do it. They could just be saving time and saving face by just getting rid of both of them at the same time, because there is that period in between where that could be harmful that they don't ban T-Cruise, and they're worried about that.
2 weeks is the max. And
it would be.
I think if they
be 3,
wouldn't, because the 9th, and then
because they have to have a week of data, and then a week to announce, and then they would have to have that week next.
The third Monday, yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah, so it would be 3 weeks.
And I really think if they ban it, I think that would Treasure Cruise. That is, I think Dig like I said from the very beginning, they were not overpowered. They did not need banned. Now, I think that Dig is at a point where it is too, and it can be banned, and you won't hear complaints if it gets banned. From me, at least.
No,
people will
I'm
bitch,
sure there's people out there who will. I mean,
yeah,
but inversely, Inverter could just get the axe too. Like, that is a real thing that Wizards has the potential to do.
Yeah, that would also be
knowing Wizards of the Coast, that is definitely in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, that would be really dumb of them, I think.
But again,
because you're killing an entire deck. I agree with you. They could do it. I would be super fucking pissed as well. A lot of other people would be. Other people who were like, oh, we just want to play mid-range mirrors. Go fuck yourself. That's not how Magic should be. There should be multiple decks. Just because the deck is good does not mean it should be banned.
Yeah, we're in this
fucking era where it's like, oh, hey, this deck is really good. Let's just fucking kill it. No, that's not how it should go. Pull back the power, ban Dig, because Dig is in my opinion, the problem card in. It gets you 2 cards because that deck
What's the card filtering power of is so fucking good.
Yeah, you look at the top 7 for 2 mana at instant speed. That also helps you fucking manage your graveyard for when you cast it.
Yeah, you're essentially looking at like the top 10th or more than that. You're looking at the top like quarter.
Yeah, and then you just, when you would Inverter, you just have straight gas, or you find answers much easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, that is a very, very powerful card in that deck that just increases the consistency. Inverter does just like, banning Inverter murders that deck altogether.
100%. Like you could probably still do some shenanigans like the mono blue with Jace and Oracle and some like self-mill cards, but that'd be really fucking shitty of them to ban Inverter.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell as far as Pioneer. I do agree with you that I think Dig is easily the number one pick for what's going to hit the block. I do see a world where Treasure Cruise also goes with Dig.
I could see it. I think it's a mistake if they do that. Because then they're going away from been doing, which is just saying, hey, we're going to let this format figure itself out and self-regulate.
I don't necessarily know if that's going back on it. It's just like them recognize that those cards are just very similar in function.
They're not similar, though.
I mean, they're just like very cheap card advantage.
Which is fine. You can have card advantage. That's card selection to combo. That's way different. Way, way different.
I don't know if
they're not even close to the same in like a deck like that.
I think they're more similar than what
random cards. No, they aren't, because one is just draw 3 cards. One is, hey, look at the top 7, take the 2 best in whatever scenario you need. You could Treasure Cruise and draw 3 lands. What the fuck is that going to do for your combo deck? Nothing. The selection is the issue with Dig, and it costs 2 mana and regulates your graveyard. The combination of those 3 things is what puts it over the top.
But if you just fill your deck with things that just synergize with each other, like those cards get a lot closer. I'm not saying that Treasure Cruise is as good as Dig, because it's not. But in a deck where you can manipulate things the way that you can in the Inverter deck, those cards are a lot similar in practice than
what do you mean manipulate?
Like with the ways that they can like go through their deck and like manage their graveyard and things like that. Like they both manage the graveyard in the exact same way.
Well, any delve spell would.
I mean, but there's no delve spells that do it the way that those 2 cards specifically.
That either draw cards or card selection. Yeah, those are the 2 that do that. I guess you could make an argument for Tasigur to.
I mean, they delve those cards delve for a mill, but this deck is also playing like it is playing Opt, it is playing Narset. Like they can manipulate the top of their deck and put cards that they don't need on the bottom.
Yeah, the Azorius control deck can do that too.
Thassa's Oracle. I mean, but they're not the Azorius control deck isn't using dig to the extent that the inverter deck.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think dig could go. I would expect dig 100%. I've said this for a couple weeks now, where if anything's going to go from the deck, it should be dig. I think Treasure Cruise is still completely fine. They might just try to slot it in, which might be serviceable. It's not going to be nearly as good. And I don't think, if they ban dig, I really think that Inverter falls from tier 0 to still going to be one of the better decks, but it's not going to be that thing where, hey, oh, what are you doing? Let me find an answer. Because that's what dig does. Treasure Cruise just draws you cards, which isn't really what this type of combo deck wants. It wants specific cards. It's not like, hey, I'm going to cast 30 spells and kill you. It's, hey, I need these specific 2 cards.
Yeah. No, I do think dig is going to be the target. I'm not saying that dig is definitely not going to be I can just see them also just throwing Treasure Cruise under the bus. I don't know if that's right or not, but
I was about to ask, what do you think? Do you think that's the correct move? Because I could see it happening too. I just don't think it would be the correct move.
I don't know if it's the correct move. I don't play Pioneer enough to know if that's 100% right or not. My only thing to consider with that is what other decks gain from having Cruise in the format and not dig, like, and how that affects the meta as a whole.
I don't think it really affects it at all, to be honest.
See, I'm not entirely sure.
Because no deck is playing both, and the decks that are playing dig are playing it for a specific. The Breach deck was playing 1 copy, I think. The blue-white deck is just playing it as a 2 of most of the time.
Yeah, just because it's a great card.
Yeah, it's just overtly powerful, and it says, hey, spend 1 card, get 2 cards of your choice out of 7.
Yeah,
Treasure Cruise,
so dumb.
And I've spoken of this before. Treasure Cruise is really good in decks that want just raw
sheer
cards. Yeah, like stuff that, what's that? The Phoenix or Young Pyromancer, things like that, where it just wants fodder constantly, and that's not necessarily what the Inverter deck wants. They still might play. I don't know. I could see. I don't think that the blue-white control deck would play that. I think they would play something like the new intervention, the blue intervention.
Yeah, I could see that. Thassa's intervention.
That's my thought for Pioneer. I don't have shit for Standard. I don't know I know blue-white control's pretty good. I know that.
Oh, Standard's not going to see nothing. Standard's not going to see anything.
Yeah, the Teamer Adventure was pretty good.
Yeah, sure. I could see the only thing in Modern that I could possibly see getting the axe is Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, they need to do something to kind of limit that.
Just to cut Titan and like a E-Tron down a peg.
Is E-Tron playing that now too? Or just like, the mono green? Okay,
yeah, the Eldrazi-Tron. Yeah, I can see them hitting.
Is Eldrazi-Tron green now? Because those were 2 very separate decks.
Eldrazi-Tron is literally just colorless, playing 4 copies of Once Upon a Time. And it's playing,
I could see that.
That's
probably the best thing to cut from that, because it hits a couple different decks. Yeah, and
that's
from the get-go, I called this that's a very, very fucking powerful card.
There was nobody saying that Once Upon a Time was not great, because that card is it's free spell.
Yeah, and we had talked about Legacy before. You were saying about Breach being an issue.
Yeah.
If they were to ban something, I think it would just be Breach. I think it would be a mistake to ban LED or Brain Freeze.
Oh no, I am at this point I'm like 98% certain that something is going to get banned out of Legacy, and I'm about 95% sure that something is going to be Underworld.
Yeah, because if they ban LED, Dredge dies, and Storm dies, and Bomberman dies.
Oh, they're never banning LED. That's not. Yeah. Never gonna.
And if they, I could see Brain Freeze, because the only real deck that plays that is High Tide, but it would pretty much kill High Tide. You'd have to play.
You would just have to kill them with fucking
Grape Shot or
Blue Sun Zenith.
Or Blue Sun Zenith, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so miserable.
So yeah. I would think Breach in that. I don't think Vintage is going to get touched.
I think there's a chance that maybe Astrolabe also gets hit in Legacy.
Yeah, because it kind of does a shitty Deathrite Shaman impression. It just lets you play.
Yeah, it turns out that card is just really fucking good.
Yeah, 4-color base, pretty much.
Because my thought with that is, if they ban Breach, which I do think they're going to do, I think they gains a lot by also banning something that goes into like the 4-color control deck. So either they ban Astrolabe and make mana fair again, or they ban Oko. I don't see them banning Oko, so I see them hitting Breach and Astrolabe.
Yeah, I'm assuming the amount of Wastelands played in Legacy currently is probably at the lowest it's ever been.
No, because I mean, Lands is still like a decent deck. Delver's obviously up there because there's a combo deck at the top of the format.
I guess so. Like I said, I don't play it.
Yeah, Delver's like one of the better decks because, like I said, there's a combo deck that is number one in the format, and Delver's just like, I'm gonna eat that ass. Death and Taxes isn't particularly favorable right now. Wasteland's always just going to be good. Like, there's always going to be the Lands deck that's decent. Delver's always going to play it. Delver's always going to be decent. Death and Taxes is always going to be there.
That's the linchpin of that format, literal Delver. That's been probably the most popular deck since Delver was printed, probably.
Yeah, Delver is the great litmus test of Legacy. In whatever format that Delver is presenting itself, Delver is there to make sure that everything is on the up and up.
I think when Miracles was in its heyday, that was probably the best deck for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And that was the sign of a bad format. And that's why
Control deck is the best deck?
Yeah, that's why Top had to go.
Well, I thought Top went just playability, and people don't know how the fuck to play Top.
No, Top went because Miracles was the best deck, and that was an unhealthy. Yeah, bad format. When Miracles is like by far the best deck, is you have a problem. That's a massive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Legacy's just generically like, it's just like not great right now.
Legacy is a turn 2 for it.
It was worse when Ren 6 was around. But,
yeah, no shit. That's why they got fucking banned.
Yeah, but like it's up there with when Ren 6 was around. So Breach is definitely, I think Breach is going to be definitely hit on Monday. And I'm like 50-50 on whether Astrolabe is going to be hit too.
So
I would love
like
to see
4%
both of them.
of the meta or something.
That's because like 10% of the meta is Underworld Breach combo, which is like, if a Legacy metagame is 10% dominated by one deck, you have a fucked up metagame. Because Legacy is unlike any other format. You never see a deck that dominant unless the format is in big, big trouble.
Wasn't that Delver? Isn't Delver like 10%?
Delver's usually hovering, well, I mean, if you're lumping every single version of Delver, Delver's usually around like 10-ish percent. But even within that, you have to break it down to, there's the Rug Delver players, there's the Sultai Delver players, there's like the Blue-Red Delver players.
Yeah, because currently, this is based off of top 8, so take that with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Blue-Red Delver's at 12%.
That's all.
No, that's literally Blue-Red Delver.
I'm assuming there is probably Grixis Delver in there, and probably
Teamer, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like those are probably lumped in together just because of the so few cards that need to be changed out of those, but those few cards make a assload of difference.
And then the next deck is the Bant control mixed with the 4-color control, really.
That's the 4-color Oko.
Yeah, and the Bant control is Miracles playing Oko.
Yeah, Oko and red cards.
And then Death and Taxes rolls up Numero Trace with...
Those are out of like the mid-range.
No, that's everything.
Oh, well, no. Jeskai Underworld Breach is easily the most played deck.
It is at 4%. In the last 2 weeks, it is at 7%. Delver's at 11%. Bant Control's at 7%. Death and Taxes at 7%. Eldrazi Aggro's at 6%.
Oh, but in the I don't know if the whatever website you're looking at.
This is just literal top 8. So this is every top 8 metagame. So it takes all the top 8, and then that's what breaks it apart.
Is it taking into consideration the Legacy primers and the Legacy Premier events?
Yeah.
And the challenges?
Yeah.
Oh, because in the preliminaries and in the challenges, Breach has been by a significant margin the most represented deck. Like there's like 3 or more copies in every top 8.
That may be the case, but out of all of the top 8 across everything, so online data, paper tournament, and these are paper tournaments even from this one's fucking Eternal Series 14, and then events in Hong Kong, Moto prelim. This is strictly the top 8 data. It's not, oh hey, 500 decks, 400 of them are Breach. It just takes the top 8.
Oh, you see, I'm looking at the total data from all like the Magic Online events, because the Magic Online events is where Legacy like actually is played.
Yeah, that makes sense, but it still takes just the top 8. So it takes the top 8 from there.
Sure. No, this what I'm looking at, it's like taking like the 16, like pretty much the top 16 of the event.
And the last two prelims were won by Storm.
The last preliminary was won by Sneak and Show, which was this past week.
That one's not up yet. So 228 is the last prelim.
Oh, I'm looking at
the last event is the 29th. Yeah, it's just not up yet. That's
Yep. Yeah, and then in the top 8 there were 3 Underworld Breach decks, and in the challenge there were 4 Breach decks in the top.
Well, it's very good. Don't get me wrong.
The deck is.
I agree with you. I'm just
too much.
I was just where this data was.
Yeah. So there's going to be something. And do you think there's going to be anything in Vintage? I'm assuming not.
I don't think so. Here's the thing with Vintage: they're used to stupid, powerful, broken shit. So there's not really a difference between. It's just not right to play that card yet.
In Breach.
Yeah, because you have.
Yeah, Breach just doesn't make sense quite yet.
Yeah, you have Yogg-Will.
Sure.
Someone may figure it out where they're like, hey, let's mill ourselves. But I don't think it ever will, for the mere fact, mostly all of the sideboards in Vintage have
playing
somewhere
like
between
4 ley lines.
They have like 6 to 8 ways to deal with the graveyard because Dredge is that fucking good.
When you have a graveyard deck as one of the pillars of the format, graveyard strategies become significantly worse.
And like you still can just win through graveyard. So like generally I play at least 6 ways to deal with Dredge, and obviously they're not 6 of the same effect because you can't do that. But like it's a combination of Leyline or Tormod's Grips or Ravenous Trap. I couldn't think of that one.
Yep, that'll do it. Yeah, and that just makes like Breach such a hard card to play in that format.
Yeah, and Vintage is pretty much Canadian Highlander with no point system and 60 card decks with 15 card sideboards. 90% of the Vintage deck, now granted, like shops and stuff like that are different.
They're all the same cards.
There are generally like 8 to 10 different cards, and those 8 to 10 cards vastly change.
Yeah, sure.
The deck, the way it plays.
Yeah, Breach is just, I don't think Breach is breaking through. So Vintage is totally safe right now.
Not yet.
Yeah,
like I said, it may, but
Vintage is fine right now.
Yeah.
So I do expect there to be changes in Pioneer. I do expect there to be changes in Legacy. Maybe Modern, we'll see. But definitely Pioneer, definitely Legacy. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, well, 6 days, you'll be able to find out.
Yeah, and next week you can tell us how wrong we were.
Yeah, or how fucking right we were.
Only changes are in Commander. That's the only thing that they're changing. Or Brawl. They're doing a banned announcement.
You know what?
I
actually hope there is a fucking change in Commander. Let there be fucking Planeswalkers in Commander already.
They're not going to do that. That's never going to happen.
Probably not. I don't care. Play Commander with people who don't give a shit. There you go.
Boy can dream. Yeah. Also, if you want a Commander as a Planeswalker as a Commander, get better friends.
Yeah, or just say, hey, fuck you. I'm playing this anyway.
But yeah, Matt. That's it for BNR. I had a question for you though.
What's that?
You got some fucking spice for me, bud?
I do.
Does Chef Matt have some fucking spice for the fucking week?
So it is ready. Drum roll.
Oh boy, what is this pile of shit?
It is Modern. Is brought to you by Modern this week. Manaless Dredge. It is a spicy one. There is 0 mana.
There's not a single land in this motherfucker.
0 lands. 0 ways to actually make mana.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, there's like not even like anything.
So I found this on Twitter. I don't remember where I found it, so I apologize to that person. I did not come up with this deck. I know that Corbin Hosler, I know he played something like this a while ago, but this one's a little bit updated, and it's fucking glorious.
Oh boy, this thing is a pile.
It really is. But
oh my god, this is a spicy meatball.
So the most common way to get something into your yard is to be on the draw.
Discard.
And discard.
That's so sick.
There's also, so we'll go through, starting off at 0 drops. There are 4 Memnite. Those will be important. Remember that. 4 Mizra's Bauble. 4 Ornithopter.
Sure.
So 12 0 mana artifact. And then going directly to 2 drops, we have 4 Narcomoeba. So if you would mill those from the top of your deck.
You make a guy.
You just put that into play.
You get the guy. You get the guy that does the guy.
It is. I'm not even going to read the mana cost and colors because that doesn't. Yeah. It is a 1/1 flyer. That matters. Golgari Thug.
Which is just Dredge 5 or Dredge 4.
4
once upon a time.
So maybe this deck is not going to be good if it gets banned. But
Yeah, this deck is in trouble, bud.
So yeah, if it's the first spell you cast, you can play it without paying its mana cost. Look at the top 5, grab a creature or a land. This has no land, so you're grabbing a creature. And then we have 3 Sword of the Meek, which that's why those 1/1s were important.
Sure.
So equipped creature gets +1/+2, and it has this other text. Whenever a 1/1 creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature.
Oh, I love that.
We have 4 Stinkweed in, so they are 1/2 flying dredge 5. Nothing matters except that dredge 5. 4 prized amalgam, so a 3/3 if a creature entered the battlefield from your graveyard this turn.
Bring it back
at the next
end step.
Next end step.
It's tapped,
and it comes into play tapped. 4 Serum Powder, so this basically a free mulligan. If you were to take a mulligan instead, you can exile your hand face up, I believe it says, and then draw that many cards or put that many cards into. So it's basically a free mulligan. You exile
your hand. So you exile your first 7 cards.
Yeah. So if you were to mulligan with 5 cards, instead of mulligan, you could exile those 5 cards and just redraw 5 cards. But it's always going to be 7.
And then Creeping Chill.
So when it's put in from your library,
drain and gain 3.
Yep. 4 Vengevines, which are 4/3 haste. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you cast this turn, you may return Vengevine from the graveyard to the battlefield. So 4/3 haste. That's important with Memnites and Ornithopters. And this next creature, Hollow One. It's a 4/4 for 5 colorless. Costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn. So if we're discarding 3 cards, it's free, which we're generally going to be discarding 3. We have Street Wraith, so cycling for 2 life, discard a draw card. This is where it starts to get a little spicy, as if the deck has not been spicy enough.
I would say this deck is already pretty spicy, but these next cards are fucking extra.
So Salvage Titan, it is from the Titan cycle. It is a 6/4 artifact creature golem. You may sacrifice 3 artifacts rather than pay the spell's mana cost. You may also exile 3 artifact cards from your graveyard to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So this gets really fun with things like Sword of the Meek, where you can sacrifice those, gets a little value.
Huh.
This one
That's
is
cute.
yeah.
The next one's pretty good though.
I'm actually gonna look this one up so I can actually get the
100% card correct, because this one has some text.
Yes. This one is Phantasmagorian.
Yep.
It is 5 black for a 6/6. Whenever you play this, any player may discard 3 cards. If a player does, counter it. However, that's not the...
Yeah, how are you planning on casting this with not producing mana, Matt?
We're not. The other line of text is discard 3 cards, return this from your graveyard to your... So this is the big discard outlet, which then allows you to dredge, etc.
Yeah.
So that's the main deck. And then sideboard is 4 Chancellor of the Annex. If it's in your opening hand, reveal it. And when each opponent casts their first spell of the game, counter that spell unless they pay 1.
Sure. And
so basically free, go fuck yourself, counters, or whatever they're doing. 4 Fairy Macabre, discard it from your hand, exile 2 cards from your yard. 4 Chancellor of the Dross, or 3 Chancellor of the Dross, excuse me, which is the same thing. If it's in your hand at the beginning of the game, you can reveal it. And if you do, opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3. And then to wrap up the sideboard, we have 4 Sickening Shoal. So it's X black. Like all of the Shoal cycle, you may exile a black card with converted mana cost X rather than pay spell's mana cost. Target creature gets -X until end of turn.
This deck is a fucking mess, dude.
I told you it was spicy.
I love it. This is some fucking Chef Matt spice.
I did not create this. Let's be very honest.
No, I mean, not everybody can create everything, but we all can appreciate some art in the form of a deck list.
Yeah, so the way this deck is going to win most of the time is a combination of Creeping Chills, Vengevines, and Hollow Ones.
Yeah, sure.
But you can also just poop out Prized Amalgams and Salvage Titan and Smush.
Yeah, you can just do like the typical dredge thing.
Yeah. In my ideal world, I would be playing this deck in a field full of pawns.
Yeah, that seems like a way to win the game.
This deck is also very all-in.
Oh, this is a commit strat. Like, a recipe resolves against this deck, and it loses on the spot.
That's not. You can get out some, what's it, fucking artifact. Hollow one.
You're playing Hollow One, are you?
You could get some hollow one.
Yeah, I don't see that as a winning strategy against a recipe.
Definitely not a winning strategy, but you could win with
Sure,
that strategy.
yeah. In the theory where your opponent mulligans to 3, where they have land, rest in peace, and then draw nothing else, there's a way that you can win that game.
Or you just draw the nuts and you go to 8 cards, you discard. Well, no, you couldn't even do that. You'd have to literally have 3.
Yeah, you'd have to have like the Stone Perfect hand. A rest in peace just kills this deck on the...
Oh, yeah. But if you're playing a deck like this, you're living on the edge to begin with.
No, yeah, this is living on a prayer.jack.
So I sent you that. You can tweet that out.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the spice. Because that...
We will definitely be tweeting this pile out because this is a fucking mess.
Your boy is going to have some pretty bad heartburn because that was...
Oh, boy, yeah, you better fucking take in a Tums or a Prilosec, bud. That's a fucking deck. Holy shit. I love it. And I'm interested to know if anybody out there who has played a deck similar to this, what they think of that. Because this is something I've never even considered being something to play. This is so off the wall. Like, it has existing elements of multiple other decks, but it's just jammed together in a way that I've never seen anything before. It's nuts. It's wild.
If you're playing this deck, you're going to have some people reading your cards for sure.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have some readers with... God, I love a good deck that makes people read the cards. That's my favorite shit.
And that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
People will for sure be reading this.
Matt, that is a good fucking spice of the week, bud.
I know.
You did a good job. Chef Matt coming through, delivering the heat. I love that. Well, Matt, now how do you feel about moving away from the spice of the week to our other new segment, our Fetch and Shock Top 5?
We can do that.
Yeah, you're into that?
I suppose so.
I'm sure the spice daddies are ready for it. I'm making that one stick. I love that.
I hate you so much.
But yeah, our Fetch and Shock Top 5 this week. Last week was creatures. This week, we got a request from
a request
from one of our listeners, Rupert. He was wondering what our top 5 mechanics in Magic were, and we took this pretty loosely because I know some people can be sticklers about what is a mechanic, what is not. We took this as just like something that has occurred on a card that is like a specific thing that is unique. So there's obviously like the very obvious mechanics like Convoke and stuff that were keyword mechanics. There are some of them on our list. I know there's at least one on Matt's list because I know there's one that he loves more than anything in the world that has to be on his list. I'd be shocked if it's not number 1. And there's ones on my list that are somewhat keyworded mechanics, but like loosely based. But my top 5 is just like heavy hitters from all corners. I love my top 5 for this.
I think I have a pretty good one.
All right, why don't you send us off? Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. Do you have honorable mentions?
I have 0 honorable mentions because I rattled mine off so quick and I didn't even think of any other mechanics.
Okay, fair enough. So affinity?
Sure.
Miracle mechanic?
Oh, fuck miracles. That's actually a cool mechanic. Okay, I'm cool with that.
Split second?
Ugh.
Which is the worst. Cascade was pretty bad too.
See, you're just listing all of the ones that I'm just like, oh, I hate playing against that.
And these are just honorable mentions. And then kind of the hexproof shroud protection from like pro red. Because some of those cards are literally just unbeatable. Yeah, those were just some honorable mentions.
I guess I will have one honorable mention, and it is Convoke, because I fucking love Convoke, but it did not make my top 5.
Okay. Let's start with your number 5.
My number 5, it is Kicker.
Ooh, I forgot about Kicker.
I fucking love Kicker. Holy shit, is Kicker such a good mechanic. Like, any mechanic, which this is a trend within my top 5 of things that they put on cards that make the card good early and as good late. Like anything that it just increases the time which the card is valuable is so sick. Because I mean, we talked about it with the 1/1 Scorpion with Death Touch.
That's actually really funny because my number 5, not Kicker, but the same theory.
It's that same thing.
Cycling.
Oh, see, cycling is a fucking incredible mechanic. It's just like mechanics like that where you have something. Dominaria was the last set that had something with Kicker, or the Kicker was a theme. And there were so many cool cards in that set that like
They all just sucked. All those kickers were terrible.
And that's not true. In limited, these cards were sweet.
Some of them.
Like the one that for
in the limited environment, yes. Anywhere else,
for what, 4 mana, you could make 3 1/1 Saprolings, but then for later, for like 6 mana or 7 mana, you made 5. Like cards like that, where it's just like, okay, early on when you're just like developing your board, you get to play the card and it does the thing that you want it to do, and yeah, thumbs up. And then late game, you have your mana developed and stuff, and then you tear this card off the top of your library. If it didn't have kicker, this card would be mediocre, but since it does have kicker, it's perfect.
See, I think cycling's a little better than that because you can cycle to hit land drops. You can. The biggest one that comes to my mind is Censor. It's a 2 mana counterspell that for 1, and if they're just playing around it, you say fuck it, cycle it, new card for a blue.
Well, it also goes for things like multi-kicker too, like Everflowing Chalice is like a permanent cube staple. That card is so good because you can just like turn 2 and it turns into just a 1 mana rock, or late game you just dump 4 mana into it, and then next turn you just have just a Soul Ring.
Oh, I thought of another one that is really good that's not on my list.
Nope, can't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, what is it? It's an honorable mention now.
Buyback.
Yeah, Buyback's another one of those things that's just like,
yeah, that's when you said it's just
so good.
Okay, so I'll go to my number 4.
Yeah, your number 5 was
Cycling. My number 4 is Delve.
Ooh, see, Delve could have been an honorable mention for me. It's just like that mechanic is so good. It's just in practice that mechanic sucks. Like I just hate the games where Delve becomes the thing.
Yes, one of the most common played Delve cards is a common that they didn't think was going to be good, and is just a 5/5 for 1 mana.
Yeah, what you know about some Gurmat Gangler?
Yeah, some zombie fish.
Zombie fishy boy. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good mechanic.
Just because it lets you play undercosted threats. I don't think that that's what they meant to do with it.
No, it was
like, oh, hey, I got some cards that are in my graveyard. Play 2 spells this turn instead of an overcosted 1 spell.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a spell version of like Convoke.
Yeah, exactly. Just cards for...
is what it tried to be. But then in practice, it turned into, oh, this is way too fucking good.
Degenerate. Get as many cards and cast a 5/5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really...
So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is a off the beaten path one.
Fucking Llanowar Elves again? You idiot.
I think if I gave you like 100 years, you might not be able to get. My number 4 is Will of the Council. So the voting mechanic.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a thing that you enjoy.
I fucking love this mechanic, both in competitive play with cards like Council's Judgment, where I just get to like, oh, now I have an answer for Tornado Nemesis. Now I have an answer for your Planeswalker. Now I have an answer for whatever permanent that I needed to deal with because I'm not actually targeting it. That card specifically just would put this mechanic on my list regardless. But this mechanic in like the practice of a multiplayer game is so sick. Like there are cards that just make games so cool because all of the players get to politic together because you cast a 1 card. Like Plea for Power is a sorcery for 4 mana for 3 and a blue. And it has Will of the Council. And each player votes either for time or knowledge. And then you get an extra turn for each time thing. And you get an ancestral recall for each knowledge. Like that card is so sick. And
no, you take one of their permanents.
No, this is the draw one. You draw 3.
Expropriate? Is that what you said?
No, Plea for Power.
Oh, I was like expropriate. Not
no,
that,
but yeah. Like, that's another example. Yeah, like there are just like so many cards with this ability that you could cast them 10 times and they'll never resolve this.
Yeah, true. These are generally all-stars in like Commander more so than competitive. Like the one competitive card is Council's Judgment.
Is Council's Judgment for sure. Yep. And I love Council's Judgment. But this mechanic is just so fun because it does have that card that like broke through into competitive formats, while also just being such a cool casual card, like Commander card, or Commander Mechanic, sorry. It is just so much fun and so unique in the thing that it does. I love Will.
Yeah. So what's your numero trace?
I'm thinking our number 3 mechanic might be the same thing. I'm calling it now.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 mechanic is Flashback.
Nope. I don't even actually have Flashback on my list.
Oh, dude, come on. Flashback is so sick.
It is. It really is.
Snapcaster Mage,
Lingering
like Faceless
Souls.
Looting, Lingering Souls. This card, and this goes back to the thing where you're getting more on a card than what the face value of. You get to play the card, and then later on you get to just do it again for a little bit more of an investment. And like Flashback was also a linchpin in one of my favorite decks I've ever played, which was Modern Gifts Reanimator.
Yeah, you get to flashback the
Unburial Rites.
Unburial Rites, that's it.
Yeah, like that deck would not function if Unburial Rites did not have flashback on it. So like that automatically just puts flashback into my top thing because that's one of my favorite mechanics. One favorite of my cards of all time. That mechanic is just so cool in the way that it interacts with the game, and it makes your graveyard matter. So then it brings like cards that interact with the graveyard into play. Like, oh, I want to exile your thing. That's another big thing for Theros Limited, why I think the new Theros Limited is so cool, because it cards that normally you'd just like be like, oh, this card doesn't do anything because it interacts with the graveyard. Now in this new Theros Limited format, those cards actually have value. Like you could just nab their graveyard card, and like you just got a ton of value off of that card that normally would have no bearing in the game whatsoever.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, love flashback. What is your number 3, Matt?
My number 3 is how Magic should be played the way Richard Garfield and that would be
Storm.
Dredge.
Oh, god damn it.
This broke Magic.
Dredge is a shit, isn't it?
It's just, it attacks from a completely different axis, and it kind of speaks for it. Literally,
Dredge is so fucked.
You don't care really about casting spells. You want to get them in your graveyard and start dumping that shit in there.
And not to mention, you wouldn't have had any spice this week if it wasn't for Dredge.
True. That is very true. But this deck is a mainstay in Modern, Legacy, and is arguably one of the best decks Vintage.
Yeah, it is a linchpin in Vintage.
So that's mine. I don't really have much else. It's pretty obvious why it's good.
Dredge is Dredge. How about your number 2? What's your number 2?
So I waffled back and forth on these two. My number 2 is actually Storm.
Oh, I knew Storm was going to be on your list.
Yeah, well, it has to be Storm. So Storm, it's actually probably the best name mechanic. Yeah, but Storm for every spell you cast, and then you cast a Storm spell, you get a copy of that for each other spell cast this turn. So the most common one and the best one is Tendrils of Agony. The second most commonly played one is probably Grape Shot, and then the Empty the Warrens, and then Brain Freeze. A lot of these are all banned in Pauper.
Yeah. But
they're linchpin win conditions in decks. Generally, you just play a bunch of spells and you have 1 or 2 copies and you just kill them.
Yeah, there's not a format where Storm is legal where it's not a deck.
Yes.
Yeah, Storm is sweet.
What is your numero dos?
My numero dos was it number 4? No, number 5. It's Cycling.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I love Cycling. And I was thinking on this in just like a gameplay aspect. Like, Cycling has been every single format that it's been in, like limited wise, it's made that limited format so good.
Yeah, it just gives you options. Like I was saying, it
goes back to that.
It's good early.
Yeah, it goes back to that theme.
Sorry, go ahead.
It goes back to that theme of my list where it's just like it gives more to the cards than what they would have had on their face value without these mechanics. Like you get the censor mechanic, or the censor example was perfect, where it's just like, oh, I can do this card and it counters a spell. Or when this card has no value anymore, it just says 2-mana draw card. Like, that's totally fine. And I love mechanics like that. And Cycling is the quintessential mechanic for giving a card more than what it had before.
Yeah, it's good early. It's good late. It's good with the actual card.
Yep. Oh, I'm interested to hear what your number 1 is now.
What is?
Oh wait, no, I already know what your number 1.
Yeah, you should. What's your number 1?
Do you have any guesses on what my number 1 is? Because I know what yours is.
Like a flicker.
No, it is not. That would have been a good one. That should have been an honorable mention.
Like a taxing effect.
It is close. It's actually on a card that we talked about earlier. It is actually the Monarch mechanic. The champion of butterflies, baby. Got to represent for the Monarch.
Yeah, that one is also very good. So, do you want to explain what Monarch is?
Fuck yeah. So, permanents with Monarch on it are, when they enter the battlefield, you become the Monarch, is pretty much what it is. Monarch is just an emblem that you receive that says at your end step, you draw a card. And then whenever a player deals combat damage to you, they become the Monarch. And that they get the emblem that does that same thing. This mechanic does so much for Commander games, like to the point where we play some Commander games at my house, where the house rule is we start the game with the monarch in the center of the table. The first person to deal combat damage becomes the monarch, and then
it's just
carries
always
on for the rest of the game until somebody wins because it forces people to do something, which that's usually the big thing in commander games where you're just sitting staring at each other not doing anything, and the game just hits a stalemate and then goes on for another 15 turns where nobody does anything. That's boring.
Monarch this forces people to do some shit.
Time. And then also another like Will of the Council, like I said before, it has just broken into constructed formats. Like the Monarch is in Pauper, the Monarch is in Legacy, and it makes those games so sweet. Monarch is so good, dude. Holy
changes
shit.
The dynamic of a game too.
Yeah, it's just like there's times where
it's like a mini game inside of a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want the Monarchy in against Miracles in Legacy more than any other deck. And that other deck doesn't have creatures. So it's like, I'm just the Monarch forever, and I'm just getting card advantage from a deck that doesn't have blue, and I just can run away with the game just by being the pretty princess. That's it.
Even if they remove the card,
I still get to keep the Monarchy.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing with Palace Jailer. Because of the way that it reads, your opponent has to become the Monarch in order for them to get their creature back, because when Palace Jailer enters the battlefield, it exiles a creature until your opponent becomes the Monarch. So they can deal with Palace Jailer all they want. As long as they're not hitting you with something, you're still the Monarch, you still keep their creature, and you're still drawing cards. Like, that card is fucking...
Yeah, seems pretty good.
The best 4-mana 2/2 ever printed in Magic.
Palace Jailer.
100%. Now, Matt, I know what your number one is. Well, why don't you tell the people?
So, my number one, best mechanic. I don't know if it's technically a mechanic, but it's my show, so fuck it. I don't give a shit. It is now. It is Phyrexian. So Phyrexian mana is either 2 life or the color. So generally it's green or 2 life. Tyler, you want to guess how many, in Modern specifically, how many cards are banned that have Phyrexian?
There are 2, right?
You tell me.
Yeah, it's Birthing Pod and Gitaxian Probe.
Correct. I would go as far to say that mostly every Magic player competitive Magic player has probably cast some with Phyrexian.
I would say any modern player.
Yeah. Dismember, a 1 mana, 4 life, -5/-5 is really good. Birthing Pod is banned in Modern. Gitaxian Probe is banned in Modern. Infect is built off of the back of Phyrexian.
I mean, and even in like Commander players, like Phyrexian Metamorph is the mainstay in the format.
Yeah, most of those, it's just so good. It lets you play everything for cheaper, but you don't have to. You can still pay mana for it.
Yeah, it lends itself to a lot of flexibility.
Gitaxian Probe is a common card that is banned literally in every format.
And restricted in Vintage.
It's restricted in Vintage, and you can only play 1 in Commander.
Yeah, that's a very, very powerful.
Oh, you forgot one.
Oh, I guess Misstep is a card. Fuck that card.
Yeah, so it's literally free spells or spells that are super cheap that you can use the most common resource in the game, which is your life total, to gain some sort of advantage.
Hell yeah. That was a fucking killer top 5, dude.
Yeah, I thought so.
That was a really good. And did we have any overlap? Cycling, right?
Cycling was it, yeah.
That's the kind of top 5s that I'm into. Ones that you and I are just like not even close to getting the same top 5, but like I can see the merit in all of yours, and you can see how I'm seeing all of mine.
Mine are way more degenerate than yours, which is not surprising.
Oh, but mine are more fun.
Definition of fun is a tricky thing, because I have fun casting 9 spells and then tendrils, or casting Birthing Pod.
Well, mine are more fun for the whole family. How about that?
I've seen young Storm players.
That's okay. Yeah, but I'm assuming you've also seen people enjoy casting a card with flashback.
Oh, yeah, I love flashback.
No, this top 5 was killer. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I like fun topics like.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So thanks, Rupert. He deserves all the credit for that.
You did it. Good job.
And listeners, if you have any ideas for future top 5s, slide into our DMs at fetch_shock, and we'll be happy to do whatever top 5 you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, these are fun to do.
These are great. Matt, you know what else is great? Accumulated knowledge.
Not really, but sure.
Wow. Why are you just going to fucking shoot down accumulated knowledge like that? You know you love it.
I do. It's fun.
Especially when you are playing it.
I am playing.
You are. Are you ready?
I suppose so.
Well, you're going to have to fucking wait because I have to explain the game. So,
son of a bitch.
For those of you out there who are new to this, we play a game every single week called Accumulated Knowledge. During that game, we go onto the Scryfall website, and one of us clicks the random card button. And whatever card is wonderfully randomly generated by Scryfall, we ask the other the name of the card. That person has to give the mana cost of the card. If they get it right, they get a point. And if they don't, they suck. They're bad.
They bring shame upon their family.
Yeah, the entirety of their family, not just like the immediate family, like in-laws,
everybody,
like third cousins, the whole clan,
whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. So Matt, you have to get 4 out of 5, and you get yourself 2 hints.
And we can't guess mana cost.
You cannot guess mana cost.
Can't ask for mana cost as a hint.
Yeah, you can't do that. No more. Are you ready?
I suppose so.
Well, Matt, your first one is Noyan Dar Royal Shaper.
What?
Yeah, not an easy one. That's for sure. Noyan Dar Royal Shaper. I will give you 1 hint for free because that's how good of a guy I am.
It's a creature.
No, it is. The artist is Karl Kopinski. But yeah, I'll give you another one. It is a creature. Yeah, you're welcome. Look at me, 2 hints for free. I'm like fucking
the
Santa
Royal.
Claus.
What set was it? The Royal Elemental. Is that how it is? The Royal?
Are you asking for the spelling?
Is it no? Is it like Royal or Royal ROYA?
Are you asking for this? Is it? Do you want a hint?
No, that's not a hint. You can fucking spell it.
Yeah,
for me.
it is. It's ROIL. ROIL. Royal. I can see why that would be confusing.
I'm just gonna take a stab in the dark because I don't think I'm gonna get this one. I don't.
This is an incredibly tough.
4 blue-green. Finally.
Matt, you are incorrect.
I figured.
It is 3 white-blue.
This is the merfolk fuck, isn't it?
He is a 4/4 legendary creature, merfolk ally.
I lost to this in the annual we did. This is from Battle.
It is from Battle for Zendikar. It is a 4/4 merfolk ally creature, legendary. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can put 3 +1/+1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a creature, a 0/0 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land.
You could have given me all that, and I probably still wouldn't have gotten the correct mana cost for this.
Yeah, that was a very fucking tough one.
I got smashed by this hard in that format.
Oh, well, Matt, are you ready for your next one?
Yeah, I suppose so.
It is significantly easier.
I fucking hope.
It is Devoted Druid.
Oh, that one's easy. That's 1 in a green.
It is 1 in a green. For an elf druid, it is an 0/2. It has tap at a green, and then you could put a -1/-1 counter on it and untap Devoted Druid. That one was a very easy.
Yeah, this is pretty common modern combat.
Yeah, that is
modern combat.
I mean, the combo's named after the card.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your next one? So you got your 1 for 2. You got to finish strong.
Still got 2 hints. Give me some more waffle.
Your next one is Endless Obedience. Ooh. Matt, it is not standard legal.
Well, I'm thinking Blind Obedience. I almost just shot out 1 and a white, the external card.
That would have been great. I mean, you had the obedience part, right? Also, that card's not standard legal.
I think I have to use a hint or I just lose.
Yeah, that seems like where you're at in the game.
Yeah, give me, what does it do?
So the card has put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and it also has Convoke.
Black Convoke card.
Yeah, you don't see these very often.
Reanimate effect with Convoke. It's black. It's probably 5+ mana.
Ooh, Matt's having some trouble.
I am. I don't know this. I'm glad I didn't just fucking dick it and just say, "Oh, Blind Obedience. I know that one."
If you would have just fucking went in on Blind Obedience, I would have lost my...
I almost did. I was trying to think of the mechanic, the extort.
Well, you would have known because I would have been like, "Oh, is that your final answer?" Just like got really
lit real fast.
Yep.
This is probably, I'm guessing 5 or 6.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
That's a good start.
I can't really use another hint. I guarantee it's not an instant.
These things are not.
Shot in the dark, all the marbles, 4 black.
Matt, is that your... I cannot believe
you're wrong, you fuck.
No, you got it.
Oh, just don't do that to me.
How did you do that?
Well, Convoke, generally shit's not cheap for Convoke.
No, never is.
It's black. It's not going to be a single black. They're not going to let you splash this.
No, never.
So that was super lucky. What set is this?
It is from N15.
I didn't know there was Convoke in M15. Is that the Convoke set?
I believe so, yes.
That one is super lucky.
Yeah, that was a fucking good one. Are you ready for your next one? You got to finish off the next 2 strong.
I suppose so. I only have one hint left. So eek.
It is. Your next one is DePaula Pilot Exemplar.
Oh, this is the red white vehicle, dude. This is one red white, I think.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It is. DePaula is one red and a white for a 3/3 legendary creature dwarf pilot. Other dwarfs get a +1/+1, and each vehicle you control gets a +1/+1 as long as it's a creature. And then whenever DePaula becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards from your library, put all dwarfs and vehicle cards into your hand, the rest, the bottom of your library.
Yeah, I played a lot of the red white vehicles in this format.
Yeah, that card was very good set too.
Just giving your vehicles a bump and then randomly being able to dig for them.
Yeah. All right, Matt, are you ready for your next one? The final one.
Countdown.
It is Curse of Vitality.
Is it a curse?
Are you asking for a hint?
No.
Good health beckons many a vigorous follower.
Give me the text.
The text says, enchant player.
Stop. I know. Keep going.
Whenever enchanted player is attacked, you gain 2 life. Each opponent attacking that player does the same.
Now, this is one of those commander curses.
Curse.
Pretty
Curse.
sure it's the white one, because the red one gives you gold, the blue one draws you card.
I love gold.
I forget what the black one does. I don't know if there is a green one.
Maybe the black one gains you 2 life.
Maybe. I think it's white. I'm not positive. I'm going to go 1 and a.
Matt, is that your final answer?
Sure.
Matt.
That's not right, is it? No, I don't think it is.
It is 2 and a 1.
2 and a white. Fuck.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah, this is a weird one too, though. Yeah, it's from Commander 2017. That is its only paper printing.
It's not surprising.
But it is also available in Magic Online Treasure Chest.
Oh, I should have asked that. I would have got that for sure.
We have never asked the printings. That's a good hint, though.
That's a terrible hint.
I mean, unless you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But if you don't know, then you get cursed with vitality.
This seems like a group hug type card.
1,000%. All of the curses. The Kytheon group hug deck is just like such a sick idea. I love it.
That's a 4-color.
The 5-color one. Or no, it's not Kytheon.
4-color.
The King. I can't remember his name. It begins with a K. The 5-color guy from the Buy a Box promo from Kaladesh. Or not Kaladesh. Eldraine.
There's a 5-color card in Eldraine.
It's the Buy a Box promo.
Oh, no. Oh, Kenrith.
Yeah, Kenrith. There we go. Thank you. Not Kytheon. Kenrith.
So I failed miserably. Not miserably.
You poor bastard. No, you made it.
I was hanging on the edge from the get-go with that one.
You made it real close. There was a sweat going on there for a second. And then a commander card came up and I was like, oh, peaceful.
Game over. Yeah.
All right, Matt. Well, you're the big loser for this.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Which means I'm the winner.
Also, unfortunately, yeah.
Which means I get the shout out.
Why do you got to keep doing this?
Well, our shout out for this week is a fellow content creator, but this young man is a Twitch streamer. He is Aspiring Spike, which his Twitter handle is. I'm just gonna spell it out because there's no way I'm pronouncing this right. It's
Mogan Evert.
Yeah, Mogan Evart. Yeah, that sounds right. It's MOUGHONEVART.
Yeah, or his name or whatever is Aspiring Spike.
Yeah, it's Aspiring Spike, and he's also on Twitch at Twitch TV/Aspiring. And he does a lot of things. He memes. He plays real decks. Matt was telling me about him where he played a Tron League that was more unusual than most.
Yeah, so celebrating him making Twitch partner, he played Mono Green Tron, but the kicker was he had the board covered with like an overlay where he couldn't see what was going on.
That is a fucking legendary move.
It's fucking hilarious.
So he's just solitary in Tron, but actual against an opponent. So like he could just be dying and he would have no idea.
Yeah, he went through like a league.
I love that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch like the clips of that because that has got to be the most entertaining shit on the planet.
It's super fun.
I love that. That's so sick.
So yeah, give him a follow on Twitter. Go ahead and spell that out again for the people because It is.
It's not easy. So it is MOUGHONEVART. And he is, again, aspiring Spike on the Twitter and on the Twitch. Go check him out. I'm definitely going to be checking out streams. Now that I know that he does that shenanigans, I'm totally in.
He also is like actually on Twitch a lot streaming too. It's not just like he posts videos. He's live most of the time.
I love that. Yeah, so if you're into doing Twitch streams, he's also has a schedule on his, I'm looking at his Twitch right now. He's Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. I don't know if that's standard time or mountain time or whatever the fuck that is, but that's the time.
One of the time zones.
Yes.
I want to say he's California based, but I'm not positive on.
It's a flip of a coin at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, go check him out. Entertaining content. Not as entertaining as us, but like up there.
He definitely does better things than we do, for sure.
I mean, does he have a top 5? Does he have daddies? No.
Fuck off.
Gotta love it. All right, dude, you got anything else for us today?
No, man. I have nothing more.
The only thing I have is a couple shout outs. And the shout outs are specifically
some friggin' idiots, probably.
Yeah, 100% some idiots. Specifically, those idiots are the Fetch and Shock Twitter at Fetch_Shock and my Twitter at Basic Land Bin and at you, Matt's Twitter at It's Bob.
Makes
Soon
sense.
to be at Chef Matt.
Soon. I just need to do it.
If you're not Chef Matt by the end of March, I'm going to be upset.
That's okay. You're entitled to feel that way.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Chef. Well,
if you're going to call me Chef, every time you say Chef, it has to be an Italian accent.
I don't know if I can do a convincing Italian accent without being like overtly racist.
Okay, no Italian. Just for in the off chance, and by off chance I mean probable with unintentional racism towards Italians, even though Italians are the people.
Sorry, Chef.
You're trying to think how to do it.
I don't even know what to fucking say after that. The only thing I can think of is fucking see you later, nerds!
Peace. Fucking. I give up.